As you can see, Florida is an amazing place. My name is Christian, and I'm joined today with Michael, David, and Rhea. Please join us as we discuss our executive marketing plan. During this short presentation, we'll review the main components of Visit Florida's marketing plan structure. We'll talk about situation analysis, SWOT analysis, marketing goals and objectives, marketing strategy, evaluation and control, and finalize with an executive summary. We'll start off with our situation analysis. As you can see here, we'll be reviewing Visit Florida from the perspective of three key environments: the internal environment, the external environment, and the customer environment.
Let's start with Visit Florida's current goals. While they are certainly broad-based and focused on how Visit Florida can help Florida achieve its tourism goals, as you can see, none of these goals relate specifically to China. We aim to change that.
In terms of performance versus organizational goals, Visit Florida tracks visitor volume, market share, and visitor mix. How is Visit Florida doing now?
The key takeaways from this slide are that Florida hit an all-time high of more than 98 million visitors in 2014, and that Florida's market share is the largest share of U.S. vacationers of any state. Now, as it relates to China, all of these marks also represent all-time highs for Florida. Admittedly, right now the numbers are small, but they are growing. We'll talk more about this in a moment.
Let's talk about how Visit Florida is structured from an organizational standpoint. What is it we need to know?
Visit Florida employs over 130 people and is driven largely by a board of directors and various committees. We'll be recommending minimal changes here. Funding comes from both the state and co-op partners, and we think our plan will help Visit Florida increase the ROI to its funding partners. In terms of the organization itself, cultural awareness about China among the Visit Florida staff is currently a problem, as is the fact that Visit Florida needs improvements for both its web and social media products.
Thanks, Mike. The analysis of Visit Florida's customer environment considers the firm's current customers, potential customers, travel usage and availability, and both reasons for selection and non-selection of coming to Florida. While Florida's tourism industry is sustained mainly by domestic travelers, international business is quickly rising. One of the core reasons being the number of amenities that appeal to fans of all ages. Beaches, theme parks, resorts, and exquisite dining. Florida is sure to satisfy every traveler. The subtropical climate draws visitors to over 660 miles of gorgeous beaches. There are few reasons not to bask in the Florida sun, but some stateside visitors may prefer different geographic amenities, such as mountains or deserts. As far as the customer environment is concerned for China specifically, Chinese tourism spells opportunity, because even though the current numbers are small for China, remember only 1.7% of international visitors originated from China as of 2014, consider these very important facts. Visit Florida's own marketing plan currently notes that by 2019, the top overseas inbound market for the U.S. will be China. Furthermore, Chinese visitors spending in the U.S. averaged $7,200 per visitor in 2013, the highest of all international travelers visiting the U.S. And that same Visit Florida plan also noted that China is the fastest growing inbound market to the United States. And this was in spite of minimal marketing investment by Florida for China. Imagine what Visit Florida could achieve in terms of attracting Chinese tourists if they actually devoted some real dollars to the cause. Hi, Rhea. Can you tell us a little bit about the external environment?
Of course, there's great opportunity in targeting the Chinese to visit Florida. There's, however, competition from theme park businesses from other locations, such as California and also Paris. However, there's also intense competition from other states in the US seeking the Chinese tourists and from other countries who are all chasing the same goal to get the Chinese tourists to visit them. Florida doesn't have an easy task by any means. For example, the French hold an advantage in terms of proximity to China, and California has Spain. There are also many resorts located in the Caribbean that would pose a threat when it comes to lodging and entertainment, and their beaches are comparable to those in Florida as they share the same seas. Over the past few months, however, China's GDP growth has slowed, but it's stabilizing, albeit its consumption to GDP ratio is slightly up and the services sector's share has continued to rise. In addition, this developing economy is experiencing structural changes in many dimensions. And as the economy matures and becomes richer in terms of absolute size and per capita income, the increase in the country's middle class facilitates increased spending capabilities on luxury items. And finally, China is experiencing rapid industrialization, which brings with it rising incomes, better education, urban living, and greater mobility. There is higher discretionary spending and a tendency to trade up as consumers aspire to improve themselves, their way of life, and their perceived social standing.
Great. Thanks, Ria. Okay, time to get into our SWOT analysis. Our experts agree there are a number of strategic steps to focus our efforts. We'll talk about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, developing competitive advantages, and developing a strategic focus. Hi, David. Can you give us an overview of the SWOT analysis?
Sure. Let's start with the strengths. Florida's biggest strength is the weather. It makes Florida an attractive place to visit year-round because the summers, while hot, are cooled by the breeze blowing in from the ocean, and the winters are real warm with temperatures in the low 60s to high 70s. The second strength is Florida's well-diversified tourism infrastructure offers a wide variety of destination activities that can fill almost any vacationer's desire. Third, recent marketing campaigns by Visit Florida have been wildly effective, and for every dollar spent, generates $177 in tourism spending and $11 in new sales tax collection. Fourth, Florida has an excellent air travel infrastructure with 13 international airports, making traveling to the state easy and convenient. Moving on to weaknesses. First weakness is that the average distance of Florida from the mainland China is over 8,000 miles. This can make travel time pretty long. Second, Florida has a lot to offer tourists due to its large size. However, it can be difficult to try to plan and fit everything that Florida has to offer in one trip. Moving on to the opportunities, according to the CLSA, which is one of Asia's top independent brokerage and investment groups, by 2020, outbound Chinese tourism is expected to reach 200 million. This is over double of what 100 million was in 2013. This provides a great opportunity for new visitors to Florida. Second, the National Travel and Tourism Strategy, launched in 2012 by the current White House administration, sets to increase international visitors by up to 100 million by 2021. This is in line with what Florida hopes to achieve and can only benefit Florida moving forward. Going on to the threat, while Florida boasts some of the nicest beaches, golf courses, resorts, and theme parks in the world, other locations offer similar offerings, sometimes at shorter distance or lower cost. Both Hawaii and California are such examples where flights can take less time and be cheaper. Second, extreme weather conditions are something to worry about in Florida. Between June 1st and November 30th, Florida enters a period of time known as hurricane season, where extreme weather conditions can be seen. This can cause traveling to Florida worrisome for some travelers. Third, the slowing Chinese economy has worried some analysts, and the continually decreasing GDP could take a turn for the worse and affect the income of the middle-class visitors we hope to attract.
Great. Thanks, David. Hey, David, could you give us some insight into our competitive advantage?
Sure. In order to build our competitive advantage, we need to take our weaknesses and threats and turn them into opportunities and strengths. While Florida is over 8,000 miles from China, due to Florida's excellent airport infrastructure, it takes only slightly longer than 1 hour in additional travel time to reach Florida. Ticket prices are more expensive on average if flexibility is not an option. However, if tickets are booked far enough in advance and flexibility is an option, many major Florida cities can be flown to for prices cheaper than California or Hawaii. Florida's vast tourism infrastructure provides quality lodging and entertainment at a wide range of price points that will satisfy everyone from the most budget-conscious to those seeking the finest world-class luxury resorts. Finally, Florida's large size can be seen as a potential weakness, but however, it can also be a strength. The large size allows accommodation of a lot of visitors without overburdening the system, and the many different options as far as travel options make visiting Florida a unique experience every time.
Thanks, David. David, could you give us a little insight into our strategic focus?
Sure. Due to Florida's many strengths, the large opportunities presented by the growing Chinese tourism market, and the ability to turn Florida's limited weaknesses into potential strengths, Visit Florida should pursue an aggressive marketing plan. Since Chinese consumers have very little experience with Florida, the campaign should be aimed at educating the Chinese consumers on all that Florida has to offer, while highlighting areas of American culture that will likely appeal to them.
Great. Okay, it's time to turn our attention to the marketing goals and objectives related to China specifically that were recommended for Visit Florida. Who wants to explain these for us?
I'll start by explaining the overall goal. To keep this plan realistic and achievable, we're actually only recommending one goal, that Visit Florida aim to increase overall Chinese visitor volume and Chinese visitor spend as a result of increasing brand awareness of Florida as a Chinese tourist destination.
The objectives which support this goal will all be measured on the 2020 timeframe, and they are A, for the Visit Florida International Committee to achieve 320,000 Chinese visitors and 342 million Chinese visitor spend. B, the Visit Florida meeting/co-op team will achieve 83,000 business traveler volume. And for Visit Florida as a whole to increase brand awareness of Florida as a potential destination by Chinese consumers by 20%. Again, all three of these are to be achieved by the year 2020, which is about 5 years from now.
Thanks. At this point, we're going to review our recommendations for Visit Florida in terms of the strategies you see here: target markets, product, pricing, distribution, and promotional. You'll notice here our group is recommending Visit Florida focus its efforts on two target markets: Chinese tourists and families, and the Chinese business travelers.
That's right. We believe Visit Florida should primarily focus on the Chinese tourist/family who has the desire to travel internationally and the disposable income to be able to afford this luxury. Now, at the same time, we believe Visit Florida should also focus on the Chinese meeting/business consumer who's willing to consider holding their convention overseas. Because, as you know, 26% of current Chinese visitor volume actually comes from this group. And furthermore, business travelers are known to spend more per trip than general tourists.
That's right, Michael. Thanks. Okay, David, can you give us a little more about the product and pricing strategies?
Sure. We'll start with the product strategy. One of the first important things that we thought to do was to change the logo for Visit Florida. It was a basic logo, and we decided that since we need to educate Chinese visitors on all that Florida has to offer, we made it more graphical that can really represent all that Florida has to offer. You probably saw at the end of our commercial that kicked off this marketing presentation. Moving into the major features and benefits, Florida offers Chinese visitors the opportunity to experience all of American culture while enjoying the most diverse options for entertainment during their stay. Florida has everything from world-class accommodation, dining, shopping, and nightlife, but also some of the most beautiful beaches in the world, top golf resorts, cutting-edge theme parks, and amazing nature and wildlife. Florida is a great destination for both families and individual visitors, and has something to offer everyone. Our differentiation and positioning strategy, we aim to position Florida as the ultimate American destination for all Chinese tourists looking to travel abroad that has the discretionary income to do so. Our supplemental products, which we aim to offer, not only increase brand awareness of Florida as a great travel destination, but also to be a trusted source for providing or connecting visitors with the resources needed to plan their dream vacation. We aim to do this through developing travel guide publications and other online information materials. And in addition, we've partnered with local travel agencies and other reputable agents to help those Chinese visitors that are looking to visit Florida and provide them with agents that are always available and knowledgeable in the language and culture of the Chinese guests. Moving to the pricing strategies, we aim to position Florida as the ultimate destination for both middle-class and upper-class Chinese visitors. While Visit Florida does not have the ability to directly set prices at the various businesses throughout Florida, we aim to work with local travel agencies to put together comprehensive travel packages in order to drive down the price of airfare, accommodation, and entertainment and make it economically feasible for middle-class visitors to enjoy all that Florida has to offer. When comparing the price to the competition, Florida's economy, which is fueled largely by tourism, has developed a vast infrastructure that can cater to all price points. Florida's many travel destinations have accommodations from dining, shopping, entertainment that appeal to everyone from those on a tight budget to those that expect only the best. Overall, Florida's low sales tax and business-friendly policies make prices in Florida lower on average than our biggest competitor, California. Now, connecting the differentiation to our pricing strategy, we'd like to connect with local and state government to continue to advocate for low taxes and friendly business policies, which makes these prices possible and will keep prices low for future visitors.
That's fantastic. Thanks, David. And Ria, can you give us some details about the distribution and supply chain strategies?
Well, the aim is to improve customer service and eliminate the waste of wait times and inventory. The tourism supply chain involves components such as accommodation, transport and excursions, bars, restaurants, handicrafts, and food production. Quality depends on performance at each link in this tourism supply chain. Alliances can be formed with foreign countries to manufacture memorabilia at lower cost in order to maximize profit potential. There must be a completed inventory of attractions, activities, accommodations, and transport available to be matched in some way to visitor demand and thereby provide an idea of what is necessary to meet the customer expectations. Primarily, hotels must be easily accessible to the tourists. The staff, they must be trustworthy and well-trained, and all transport facilities should be well integrated and able to offer safe, fast, convenient, and economic transport services with reliable and consistent scheduling. The number of visitors would also be determined by the ease and speed at which they can obtain visas. So making this process seamless would be beneficial in attracting more customers. Ultimately, obtaining competitive advantage will be dependent on the higher integration of services within a sector as well as amongst the sectors. It is understood that tourism in Florida involves multi-level channels. The Chinese consumer would have to complete many steps before enjoying a vacation there. The aim then should be to reduce the number of steps necessary and make the process as smooth and seamless as possible.
Great, thanks. With regards to integrated marketing communication, or IMC for short, the main focus is creating and maintaining long-term customer relationships. The catalyst for a successful strategy will be advertising, public relations, personal selling, and consumer sales. Mobile advertising across all platforms, television spots, and social networking and other media promotions will ensure substantial market penetrations to drive results and heighten Florida's perceptions. All right, now it's time to talk about how all of these strategies will actually be implemented. We'll be focusing on these two topics: structural marketing issues and tactical marketing issues. Given the current structural issues within Visit Florida, we're recommending the following 3 items as an overall approach to Visit Florida's marketing strategy. Mike, can you walk us through this?
Sure thing. Cultural awareness training should be provided, especially to those employees who will interact with Chinese consumers. We believe Visit Florida should install a China committee leader to oversee this operation. In addition, we believe Visit Florida's Chinese committee leader should establish greater partnerships with the equivalent tourism company peers that are based in China, as well as the Chinese government itself. And finally, to make all this work, we believe Visit Florida's social media/internet portals must be improved to take better advantage of the online resources available to reach the Chinese consumer.
This is where the rubber meets the road, or should I say, where the orange juice either tastes great or turns sour. It's finally time to talk tactics. All right, here we go. We're excited to recommend the following specific activities for Visit Florida to implement from a product standpoint.
First off would be for Visit Florida to develop a China-specific website specifically designed for Chinese tourists, and which would include direct links to our core partners within Florida, such as Disney and the resorts, as well as direct links to various booking sites for Visit Florida's customers to use to complete the purchase process.
Next is a new feature we call China Chat, a 24/7, 365 web portal which would provide access to Visit Florida employees who speak Chinese so they could assist our Chinese consumers with whatever their travel needs require.
Third, we believe Visit Florida should work with co-op partners and airlines to develop China-specific incentives and bundled packages, which make it easy to book a complete vacation experience.
We're also excited to recommend that Visit Florida create a social media campaign called #ChinaLovesFlorida that can be used to raise awareness of the Florida brand and be a platform which provides ongoing touchpoints via a unified marketing campaign for both of our Chinese target markets.
We also think Visit Florida should partner with Chinese travel agencies and meeting planners by providing more support options for them and creating an influencer campaign called #ChinaLovesFlorida Certified Rep.
And finally, we think that Visit Florida should partner with China trade shows and travel agency conventions in order to raise further awareness of the Florida brand by working key events at which important Chinese travel agencies and meeting planners will be.
Some of our pricing activities include working with governments to encourage business-friendly policies, incentivizing travel agencies, and working with partners to provide special pricing through the #ChinaLovesFlorida campaign. With regards to distribution and supply chain activities, we'll be looking at statewide customer service training in Chinese culture and language, developing specific sales call plans, and forming partnerships with Chinese travel agencies and business planners to develop hospitality training modules. Lastly, we'll be looking to partner with Chinese equivalent of Visit Florida. Some additional promotional activities include mobile and internet-based advertising surrounding China travel booking sites and China social media sites. #ChinaLovesFlorida campaign, contests, and customer incentives are part of this. We'll also form strategic alliances with businesses with high tourism traffic. And finally, promote experiences, destinations, and prizes. Last section of our plan will be to evaluate the following items in part of the evaluation and control phase. We'll look at formal control, internal control, marketing audits, and implementation schedule. Should Visit Florida choose to accept our proposals for change, the firm will need to put multiple control systems in place to ensure success. This includes before, during, and after the plan. Can you walk us through these, Mike?
First off, even before starting this plan, Visit Florida will need to evaluate existing employees to see if they're capable of carrying out the tactics we've recommended, as well as the current budget for China promotions. Both will likely need adjustments. Then, during the 5-year period of the plan, Visit Florida will need to install various process controls, including a reward system for employees who help Visit Florida achieve the plan's goals. It will also need to ensure that the employees responsible for the plan have both the ongoing training and authority necessary to carry out the plan. And then post-plan, We believe Visit Florida should evaluate the success of our recommendations. For example, did the hashtag China Loves Florida special pricing translate into more bookings than those customers who didn't use the promotion? Did the hashtag China Loves Florida certified rep campaign make a significant impact? And if so, can it be expanded to other markets?
Great, thanks, Mike. Strict controls oversight will be required to ensure Visit Florida is receiving the strongest return on investment possible. Audits will take place across a number of modules, including planning, org readiness, implementation, contingency planning, and marketing personnel. Enterprise-wide project planning software will help maintain consistency and visibility in the organization. Program specialists will maintain updated documentation, training, and standardizations, as well as make sure communications remain consistent cross-departmentally. SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound goals will be monitored by dedicated and shared resources to realize revenue impact. With regards to the implementation schedule, please take a look at our formal implementation guide for details. In summary, the overall goal of this plan is to help Visit Florida champion a set of strategies within the tourism industry that are designed to increase the annual volume of Chinese visitors to 320,000 and Chinese visitor spending to 342 million within the state of Florida by the year 2020. In order to increase brand awareness in China, Visit Florida would need to overcome the obstacles presented by the Chinese government-monitored media outlets. In addition, Florida customer service staff need to be highly trained in the Chinese culture and language to provide a better quality experience and increase the value of a Florida vacation to Chinese consumers. It's expected that through all the channels of advertising, the Chinese traveler would become more aware of what Florida has to offer in comparison to other possible travel destinations. It's also anticipated that they chose Florida over the other destinations that are satisfied to the extent that they would wish to revisit in the future or even tell others of their experience. The relationship between China and Florida should become more apparent as representatives from China would sit on boards and committees in Visit Florida to make decisions regarding tourism in the state. I know I speak for the group when I say we appreciate the opportunity to bring this proposal to your attention and look forward to helping Visit Florida achieve its tourism goals. Zai Zai.